Well, hello friends, it's Scott from Platte River Keto. If you're new to my channel, welcome. On my channel, you get to come along for the ride on my keto journey. You haven't heard from me in this long format for a while. Those of you who have been following along on my channel for a while are probably not real surprised as to why you haven't heard from me if you look at the calendar. Tax season just ended. It ended on April 15th, and today is the 21st, so tax season has been over for about 6 days. I am finally feeling human again. And am looking forward to making a plan here for the next couple of months, and that's why I wanted to jump on and share a long-form update with you. I know I've promised this a couple of times, but I really am going to try to get back into the habit of sharing a long-form update, at least one, with you guys every week. I feel like I owe that to you, and I owe it to myself. It's actually very helpful for me to share these updates with you as well. So here we go. We're going to do a little bit of an update, going to kind of share the plan that I've got moving forward. I survived tax season. Hooray for that. I felt like it was a very stressful tax season for me. I feel like I dealt with the stress a little bit better than I have in the past. Now, the scale would probably disagree with me, and the healthy food choices and exercise, a lot of which I missed during tax season, might disagree with me a little bit. But I felt like as a human being, I dealt with tax season a little bit better than I have in the last few years. So I'm actually pretty happy about that. Not so happy with where I'm at on my health journey right now. I have given a lot back, and you know, I haven't stepped on a scale. I don't know. I'm going to talk about the plan here over the next couple of months. I'm certainly not stepping on the scale today. I don't know at what point I might get brave enough to do that. But I can definitely tell you by how my clothes are not fitting that I have given quite a bit of ground back. And I really want to focus on moving in the right direction. Here I've got a little less than 2 months before Liz and I go on the low-carb cruise. We are going on the cruise to Alaska. And you know, just like every person, I have a little bit of vanity and want to be looking good. At this point, that's not really going to be very realistic. It's not like I'm going to lose a whole ton of weight here in the next 2 months, but I want to be feeling a little bit better and hopefully shed a few pounds. I know that Liz is wanting to kind of do something similar. She's had an ongoing issue with her hip that I've mentioned to you guys a few times. Keto has definitely helped with that, but she's working with a massage therapist and some physical therapy trying to improve her hip. So she's wanting to do that so that she can hike around. I'm wanting to get some pounds off so that I can hike around, and just so that we can enjoy our vacation. Not only are we going on the low-carb cruise in June, but my wife's family is actually going to Hawaii in July. So a lot of motivation to improve things here in the next few months. But quite frankly, it's just an excuse, a good reason to give me kind of a date to shoot for as far as wanting to make some changes. And the biggest thing I've been thinking about over the last little while, I've been doing a fairly decent job of staying keto-ish. Having said that, I've really gotten away from paying attention and being able to hear my hunger cues. For those of you who know, obviously, I've been quite a bit larger even than I am right now in the past, and one of the biggest things that I struggle with as a definite carb addict, food addict, whatever you want to call it, is portion control. And keto has helped a lot with that. As I eat whole foods, it's been a lot better for me. Now, when I get into the keto snacking and treats and other things and just snacking in general, eating outside of my eating window, I think over the last probably 6 or 8 months, have slowly built up a tolerance to where I'm definitely eating more than I should. And I've described this to you guys before, but what I find for me is that I end up eating until I'm stuffed all the time, and to where I never really get hungry. And that has kind of crept back in over the last 6 or 8 months. For a good long while on keto, I would find that I was, doing intermittent fasting, which I enjoyed, and I ate pretty good during my eating window, which was kind of lunch and then dinner, and then kind of shutting it off after dinner. I slept well. I would be hungry by the time I came around time to eat again. I've kind of gotten away from that. I've allowed myself, like I said, to graze and just kind of eat whatever and eat foods that are technically maybe keto if you eat them in small amounts, and I've been eating them in larger amounts than I should be eating them. A good example of that is popcorn. Popcorn is a keto-ish food. You might be able to get away with a cup or two of popcorn, but not a giant bowl of popcorn, not a large bag of popcorn. And that's the kind of thing I've been letting myself indulge in, which isn't very keto. I think if you sit there and add up the carbs, I've certainly gotten well above the threshold of what would keep one keto. But even on days when I'm not doing that, I just have found that I've been doing a lot of snacking, grazing, and just getting back into that mode where I'm kind of full-ish all the time. And so then when I eat a big meal, eat a food that I really enjoy, I'm stuffed full. And then, even after I've had, let's say, a really satisfying, a really delicious meal, a couple hours later, I'll go have a snack before I go to bed. And so then I'm like full at bedtime. And one of the things that I really found that I enjoyed when I was more successful with keto was that I wasn't like stuffed when I went to bed. And I found that I slept better and just overall felt better. I didn't feel blah and, almost bloated, for lack of a better way of describing it, just being full all the time. So that's going to be my focus here for the next couple of weeks at least. I was talking to Liz, and we were both talking about kind of things that we want to do to get ready for this cruise that we're going on here in a couple of months. And she talked about wanting to really focus on the physical therapy for her hip. And so she and I are going to do DDPY is the program you guys know that I do. And here there's a hip, I forget, basically a hip fixing program, a hip physical therapy type program, and we're going to do that together. I don't have necessarily have any hip issues, but it's not going to hurt me to strengthen my hips, and so we're going to do that together. That's something Liz wanted to do, and something that I really wanted to do was to be able to listen to my hunger cues again. And I find that the best way for me to do that is to cut off my eating. I'm going to focus on two things really: reducing my snacking, trying to eliminate my snacking, but definitely reducing it. It's been at like a 10. I want to at least get it down to like a 3. I'd love to get it down to a 0, but realistically, going from a 10 to maybe a 4 or 5, 5, 4, 3, somewhere in there from a snacking perspective. But then cutting off my eating at a reasonable hour, which basically would be after dinner. Usually, especially when it's not tax season, we usually eat dinner here at my house somewhere between like 5:30 and 6:30, depending on what it is that we've made. And so I'm going to cut off my eating at 7 p.m. And for the first few days here, it's going to be tough. I'm going to have a little bit of withdrawals, just because I've been used to snacking and that sort of thing. And so I might be a little bit uncomfortable. I find that is worth it to me because it allows me to get back in touch with what it feels like to be hungry, what it feels like to be satisfied. And then, of course, I'm real familiar with what it feels like to be overly full. So, but the focus is to be able to get in touch with that again, to feel what it's like really to be hungry and to feel what it's like to eat until I'm satisfied and not overly full. So that's going to be my big focus here for the next couple of weeks. In addition to that, from an exercise perspective, I'm simply trying to be consistent with my walks, and then I'm going to also be doing the hip physical therapy program with my wife. So that's where I want to get here in the next couple of weeks. After that, I kind of maybe want to dial things in even a little bit more, focus on a little bit heavier exercise, and dial in my nutrition even a little bit more. Obviously, whole food keto is going to be the focus if we're not doing any snacking, and we're going to eat heartily at our meals, but I'm going to eat until I'm satisfied but not overly full. And so one other thing, I guess I forgot to mention this, but one other thing that's going to be related to that is I'm really going to focus on sitting down at the dinner table to eat. It's so easy to get out of that habit, especially during tax season. When I would get home and be so brain fried, I'd sit in front of the television and munch away on something. I'm going to sit down at the dinner table. I'm going to put on my plate what I am planning on eating, and I'm going to eat that. And then when I'm done, I'm going to take my plate and go put it away and leave the kitchen, which is going to signal to me that I'm not going to eat anymore. And here after a week or two, I think I'll get into the, having those good habits again, those habits that I want to have. And then I can start to focus on other things other than just being keto. I might really kind of try to look at, maybe look at my macros a little bit, but more so just kind of dial in the types of foods that I'm eating and maybe even getting rid of completely of snacks. But that's what I want to do here for the next couple of weeks. And yeah, that's where I'm at. I hope this doesn't seem, what would I say, too repetitive. I know I've said this several times over the last several months. I've really been in a rut trying to start making progress again. And it's my journey. It's real. I know that from a channel perspective, it might be, you watching this video is the definition of insanity. I keep trying to do the same things to restart myself, and I'm having the same poor results. But I know that keto works for me, and I also know that I need to work on using something other than food to alleviate stress that I have in my life. And that's a work in progress. That's not something that's going to change between now and tomorrow. But I've got a goal to focus on here for the next couple of months. A little less than 2 months before we go on the cruise. And so I would like to have the being able to listen to my hunger cues for sure. I'd like to lose a little bit of weight. I'd like to gain a little bit of strength and flexibility. But that's what we're going to do here for the next couple of weeks. Again, I promise to do a better job of regularly updating you guys and keeping in touch. I appreciate those of you who have stuck with me as I've been very spotty on my updates with you over the last few months. I appreciate you being part of my journey. For those of you who do still want to hear the sound of my voice, even as I am not updating you in the long form all the time, I do share a short video just about every day. So if those aren't in your shorts feed or whatever, you can find me there most days. But I am going to endeavor to be much more consistent in sharing updates with you. So that's what's going on with me. Hope you guys are all doing well. I hope you had a fantastic Easter. Got to spend some time with your family. Day by day, keep calm and keto on, my friends, and we will check in with you guys soon.